Hi, my name is Jimmy J. I'm coming to you from the San Diego Comic-Con. I'm with J Company Comics and the Amazing Comic Conventions. We have 6 booths at the convention this year, 3 separate locations. So we are basically the Starbucks of the San Diego Comic-Con. So we have similar setups all throughout the show floor. So it makes it easy to shop with our locations. The things that we specialize in is you'll see a lot of hardcovers, a lot of omnibus, and a lot of bestsellers. That's what we carry year in and year out. You'll also see a big selection of key back issues as well as on our back wall. So if you're looking for first appearances, great books to get signed, we carry those as well. So this is our 22nd year or so vending at the San Diego Comic-Con. It's been a long time, so I kind of lose track of numbers, but as fans, we've been coming here since 1986, so it's become definitely a family tradition.
What is it about comic books that as a kid really captured your imagination?
Oh, I was a complete nerd. You know, no bones about it is I love the story, I love the art. It was a great escape. It was all the fun of a blockbuster movie that I was able to pick up week in and week out at the local comic store. So that's why I decided to do it for a living.
And if you were to talk to somebody who'd never read a comic before in their life and recommend a starter, whether a starter comic or a starter pack of comics, how do you get someone in? What do you recommend?
Well, you know what? I'll ask them a series of questions that are really simple. It's like, do you like Marvel movies or do you like DC movies? What do you like? Do you watch certain shows on Netflix? Do you watch HBO series? And depending on their answers, I would give them a list of recommendations. For instance, if they said that they like DC and Batman a bunch, I would recommend Batman Hush by Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb. It's a roller coaster adventure that every chapter something big happens. If they were a Marvel fan, I would say, why don't you check out Civil War? It's a lot different than the movie, but it has Captain America on one side, Iron Man on the other, fighting each other. It's really accessible, great book. If you're into something more like Game of Thrones or something like on HBO, you're looking for something that isn't normal spandex fare, I would recommend something like Saga. It's put out by Image Comics, and how I describe it, it's Game of Thrones meets Pulp Fiction by way of Romeo and Juliet. So I think there's something for everybody at Comic-Con, and especially if you're here, I figure that you always have to come home with a stack of comics to read afterwards.
What's your bestseller?
Bestseller is really tough, just because we're selling a little bit of everything this year. But we were selling a lot of Deadpool, a lot of, because of that great movie. But we're selling a lot of everything, Marvel, DC, Image Comics. So a lot of mainstream books, and people are just looking for fun superhero escapism.
Now, I work for Comic Heaven. We're a family-owned business, and we basically deal in lots of Golden Age and Silver Age books, which are books from the 1940s to 70s and 80s. At the show, we currently brought a very interesting book. Let me get it for you. This is Top Notch #2. This is the first time a Nazi swastika was ever used on a comic book cover. Just making sure. It actually beat out 2 other books by 1 month, and we have it priced very, very high. And it's on hold for somebody, so I might not be able to show you this, but might as well.
So what's your all-time favorite comic book?
My all-time favorite? I am personally a fan of Captain America, so Captain America #1. It's very expensive.
Yeah?
Yes, indeed.
How much would Captain America #1 go for?
We own the highest graded copy ever. We don't sell it because it's it's my father's collection. But he roughly based it a lot, like 7 figures.
Wow, that's amazing. So you grew up in the comic book store?
Indeed, yes I did.
That's amazing. Are you going to take it over?
One day, either that or I might do something else. I'm really good, I like science a lot, so I might do something biology based.
Awesome. And how many titles would you say are available through the store?
Oh, that's a lot. Probably over 500 different titles. We have very rare and odd things besides more of our mainstream products. So we actually have quite a bit good things, most definitely.
And what would you say is the #1 misconception about classic comics?
#1 misconception. Probably that all Golden Age comics are expensive. There are some cheap good ones, and it doesn't have to break the bank to get a good Golden Age comic.
And if you were talking to somebody who's never read a comic book in their life, what would you suggest as sort of like the intro course to Comics 101?
Intro course? I would suggest reading the Overstreet Price Guide. It talks about a lot of the first appearances and significant things in comic book history. That would be a good thing to review before beginning collecting.
Troy Pounders. I work for Motor City Comics. We're from Michigan. We come out here to sell comic books. With the whole stack. We deal in gold and silver age comics, a lot of older stuff, a lot of hard to find stuff, rare stuff. This is my 11th year out here, my boss's 30th year out here. I like coming out here because there's so much to see and do. There's comic books for everyone, all ages, young and old, boys and girls, men and women. There's something here for everyone. Pop culture is very popular, and everybody's jumping on the bandwagon and then coming out here to the biggest convention in the country, so San Diego Comic Con.
What's your all-time favorite comic book?
Me, I liked Morphons, and growing up as a kid when I was 13, it was the Hulk.
Hi, my name is Dane Alt. I own Monkey Minion Press. We make nerd and science-related art for everybody.
So what do you have available here at the con?
So we are selling our art prints, our pop culture propaganda art prints, our science and space exploration art prints, geeky greeting cards, nerdy kids books, and nerdy science kids coloring books.
Fantastic. And what is it about nerdy material that you think is going to be really helpful for kids learning skills that they're going to pick up in these books and coloring books?
I think it's less about learning skills and more about embracing who you are. I think seeing nerdy things represented in the materials you're picking up and you're reading is important to people who maybe aren't all into sports or the other things that other kids like. So it's important to see the things that you like in the materials you pick up.
And I gotta say, I love this belt sash thing you have, where your weapons are your pens.
Yes.
Great metaphor.
I call it a pendelier.
And we can see what you're working on here.
Yes.
What is it you're doing?
I am doing a painting, a commission of a robot from Fallout.
Awesome. All right, have a great con. Thank you so much.
I'm Kudovatz, and I write and illustrate a comic called The Back the Boogeyman. It's a happy-friendly comic about a happy-friendly boogeyman who lives in the hamper in the closet, and he eats dirty socks and he really likes pandas. So he has a little happy panda sidekick, and they have all kinds of imaginary adventures. And it's a 3-panel comic strip that is really easy to get into. Short little story arcs, 3, 6, 9 episodes make up a little story arc. So you can check it out online or get my books. There's 3 pandas in every card here at the booth all weekend.